Hey everyone, Pendragon24 here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a certain block in Minecraft called the Noteblock. Now, Noteblocks are blocks that when you hit them, create a single note. In order to craft a Noteblock, you just need 8 blocks of wooden planks, any type, they don't have to be oak, and a piece of redstone dust, arranged on a crafting table like this. When you first hit a Noteblock, it'll play an F. Placing it down like that will just make it play the F. However, if you hit it once, it'll play an F sharp. Twice will make a G. 3 times will make a G sharp, and all the way up the scale until you hit F again at 12 hits. Then you can hit them 13 times and go back up the scale, up to F sharp, but it'll be in a higher pitch. The maximum you can hit a note block is 24 times. After that, it'll go back down to low F. That's the highest note. Hit it again and it goes all the way back down to low F. In order to make a melody out of note blocks, all you need is redstone dust, a redstone repeater, a note block, and a button. So first you need to place down the button and the redstone dust so that when you play the melody, it'll travel down the line. If you just place the button next to it, it won't travel down the line. When making a melody, it's important to know beforehand which notes you're going to make on the note blocks. For example, let's do the first chorus of Hot Cross Buns. You know, hot cross buns, just like that. So the first note would be a B, which is 6 hits. Next note down would be an A. Now we're going to put down some repeaters so that the charge goes a little ways before actually playing the next note, the A. So based on the number of pauses between these two notes, I'm going to hit these 4 times. Next one will be the same since the number of pauses between these notes are the same. This note is going to be a G. And once we're done, we get... Since we've already worked out the first part, we can play the second part without much trouble. All we have to do is copy the first part and then place down a few repeaters. All of these will be the exact same as the first one, so that means we hit each of these 4 times. And, same as before, the first note's going to be a B. Second note's going to be an A. Third note's going to be a G. So this happens sometimes. Sometimes you miscalculate the distance between each of the redstone repeaters, in which case redstone comes in handy. So this is where you can get a little creative. So you can, if you really want to, you can just take these out, and since we haven't gotten that far, we can just recreate it. Let's say we put down twice as many, which would be 8 hits. Now we just have to adjust each of these to compensate for that. This is part of the reason why it's a good idea to re-listen to each section that you have a little bit after you make them. Otherwise, if you do the entire song that you're planning on making, and then you go back to the beginning and realize that there's a bunch of things that are wrong, you won't be able to adjust it much. It's also a good idea for you to just play around with the distances between certain notes. So if we go back here and I wanted to see if that's a good one, we just Yeah, that seems like a good distance. And there we go. We have the first melody. The next part is slightly faster, and I'd say that the distances between each of the notes is about half. So that means I would only hit them 2 times. The next part has 4 pieces right in front of them. So we're going to repeat the 8 hits on this one. Then we're going to put 4 of these next to each other. And since we're only going to need 2 hits, I only need 1 repeater. Alright, so this next part's the lowest note, so I need to hit it with a G twice. And if we go back to the beginning and listen, we get this. So that's the basics of it. Next you can place in the next notes, which will be the A. Once you've realized that this part fits your taste, you can continue on to the next. Let's listen to how that sounds. Yep, made a just a little error. Hit it twice instead of 4 times. Actually, I'm not quite sure what I did, so I'll just delete all these, destroy them. There, that's what we want. Again, it's a good idea to listen to it from time to time to realize what your mistakes are. Yep, that sounds way better. And since the ones at the beginning, we know what those are, we can just replicate the beginning with 4 hits in between. And since this is the last one, we don't have to put any repeaters at the end, since it ends off there. Alright, now let's listen to our... Oh wait, we need to hit it. Sorry about that. Let's listen to the entire song. One more thing before we end quickly. Now, let's say that for some reason I didn't like it in piano. There are a bunch of other blocks that you can put underneath Noteblocks to make different noises. So for wood, it becomes double bass. Sand, it's a snare drum. Glass makes it clicks and sticks. Stone is a bass drum. Gold makes a bell. Clay makes a flute. Packed ice is a chime. A bone block is xylophone. Wool is a guitar. And any other block is a piano. So, we're already through the song. I already put these down, and I want to change it to, let's say, a bell. So I can just take the block of gold, dig underneath the notes, and replace the block underneath it. Alright, so let's say that I wanted it to be both chime and piano. In that case, I could just put right next to each of these blocks another block with the exact same note, but instead of putting grass underneath it, I would put another note block with the exact same note. Let's do it here too, just to hear it. once you play them together, you can get both sounds at the same time. You can do this up to 3 times with two different things on either side. Also, fun fact, if you put a note block on top of a note block, since it's primarily wood, it will make a double bass sound. So that concludes this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something, and have fun creating your own note block creations. Thank you.